Good morning everyone, this is lecture number 42 of Engineering Thermodynamics. In last lecture we saw the Rankine cycle, different components of Rankine cycle, heat supplied to the boiler, heat rejected from the condenser, work done by the turbine and work supplied to the pump. We have seen formulas. On the basis of those formulae we will solve the numerical. Look at the first numerical, example number 1. The following data refers to a simple steam power plant in which inlet to turbine, the condition of steam at the inlet of turbine is given, that is 6 megapascal, that is 60 bar and 380 degrees Celsius. Look at here, inlet to the turbine is 60 bar and 380 degrees Celsius. As I told you, whenever pressure and temperature both are given, the condition of steam is superheated. If the steam is not superheated, if the steam is wet or it is a liquid or it is a saturated, either pressure or temperature would be given in the problem. But in this case, both temperature and pressure are given. It means steam is superheated. Okay, entry to the turbine is a superheated steam. Then exit from the turbine or inlet to the condenser. Exit of the turbine is inlet to the condenser always. At the exit of turbine, the pressure of steam is 0.1 bar and dryness fraction is 0.9. Look at here, quality and temperature are given. Here it is a degree Celsius, therefore it is a 380 degrees Celsius, and here nothing is given, no unit is given, therefore it is a dryness fraction. Dryness fraction is 0.9 and the velocity of steam coming out of the turbine is 200 meter per second. Exit from the condenser means inlet to the pump is at 0.09 bar and saturated liquid. Exit from the condenser is saturated liquid at 0.9 bar. Look at here, whenever saturated or wet is given, only pressure or temperature, not both, either pressure or temperature would be given. Exit from the pump or inlet to the boiler, exit from the pump is given to the boiler, therefore exit from the pump is inlet to boiler at 70 bar, means steam is entering in the boiler at 70 bar. Exit from the boiler. Now exit here, inlet to the boiler is 70 bar. Look at here, it is subcooled liquid, therefore only pressure is given, temperature is not given. Then exit from the boiler. Exit from the boiler is at 65 bar and 400 degrees Celsius. Exit from the boiler is given to the turbine. Therefore, exit from the boiler and inlet to the turbine should be same. But here, while flowing from boiler to turbine, there is a loss. Actually, exit from the boiler is 65 bar, but while reaching to the turbine, the 5 bar pressure is dropped. Exit temperature of boiler is 400 degrees Celsius, but steam enters the turbine at 380 degrees Celsius. There is a drop of temperature by 20 degrees Celsius. Okay. While calculating the heat transfer to the boiler, we have to consider outlet from the boiler and inlet to the boiler. While calculating the work done by the turbine, we have to consider inlet to the boiler and inlet to the turbine and outlet to the turbine. Okay, no problem. We have to calculate one more data is given, rate of steam flow, that is 10,000 kg per hour, means mass flow rate of steam is also given, 10,000 kg per hour. Here unit is kg per hour. We have to calculate power output of the turbine. Power output of the turbine means work done of turbine multiplied by mass flow rate, and power output always given in kilowatt. Therefore, we have to convert a mass flow rate of a steam in kg per second. We will divide 10,000 by 3600 to convert into kg per second. Second, we have to calculate heat transfer per hour in the boiler and condenser separately. We have to calculate heat transfer in boiler per hour and heat rejected by the condenser per hour. Okay, therefore in this case mass flow rate will use kg per hour only. Then mass of a cooling water circulated per hour in the condenser. We have to calculate mass of cooling water circulated, means how much water is required to cool the steam. So the inlet temperature of the cooling water 20 degrees Celsius and outlet temperature is 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, the cooling water enters in the condenser at 20 degree and leaves at 30 degrees Celsius. Diameter of pipe connecting turbine with condenser. Okay, this is a figure. This figure is not given, but I have taken it for the reference. This is a boiler. Now outlet condition of boiler is 65 bar and 400 degrees Celsius. This is a pipeline. After passing through the pipeline, steam enters in the turbine, but while steam enters in the turbine, the pressure is dropped by 5 bar and temperature dropped by 20 degrees Celsius. Now outlet condition of a steam from the turbine is of 0.1 bar and 0.9 dry. We have taken 0.1 and 0.2 across turbine. Therefore, we will consider enthalpy H1 and H2 across turbine. Then steam at 0.1 bar and 0.9 dry enters in the condenser and leaves steam or leaves condensate. Condensate means the steam which is converted into water. It's called as a condensate, and that condensate is leaves from the condenser at 0.09 bar, and that condition of that condensate is a saturated liquid, and then saturated liquid enters in the pump at 0.09 bar. Now that saturated liquid is pumped and its pressure is raised. As the pressure raised, that saturated liquid becomes subcooled liquid at 70 bar. Means at 70 bar subcooled liquid enters in the boiler. Let us calculate first point, that is power output of turbine. Look at here, this is the turbine. Steam enters in the turbine at point 1, and at point 1 condition of steam is 60 bar and 380 degrees Celsius. 60 bar 380 degrees Celsius. Now therefore from the steam turbine at 60 bar and 380 degrees Celsius, 60 bar and 380 degrees Celsius means steam is superheated. Since both parameter are given, steam is superheated. Also we can check from the steam table, if at 60 bar saturation temperature is less than 380 degrees Celsius, it means this steam is superheated steam. Now at 60 bar, look at here whether 380 degrees Celsius temperature is given or not. Here 380 degrees Celsius temperature is not given, 350 is given and 400 is given. Okay, if it would be 375, we would have taken the average of 350 and 340, and the average of this enthalpy would have been the enthalpy for 60 bar and 375, but here temperature is 380 degrees Celsius. Therefore, we have to apply interpolation. Look at here, take point A, B, C, here temperature and enthalpy. At point A, consider 50 degree, 350 degree as A, 400 degree as C, and we want at 380. Therefore, take B as a 380 degree Celsius. Now for 350 degree Celsius, enthalpy is 3043, and for 400 degree Celsius enthalpy is 3177.2, and we have to calculate enthalpy at this point B, and this enthalpy will be H1 because point is 1. Now we have to apply interpolation formula, that is A minus C upon A minus B equal to A minus C upon A minus B. This term I have written below temperature and this term I have written below enthalpy. Therefore here we will take temperature ABC and here we will take enthalpy ABC. Now temperature A is 350, temperature C is 400, again temperature A 350 and temperature B 380. Here enthalpy we have to take enthalpy at point A 3043 minus C means 3177.2, again A 3043 minus B, that is H1. Here only H1 is unknown, remaining term is known to us, therefore we can calculate H1, and H1 we got as 3123.5 kilojoule per kg. Now outlet condition of steam, that is at point 2, enthalpy of steam at point 2. Here condition of steam is 0.1 bar and 0.9 dry. 0.9 dry means dryness fraction is 0.9 and dryness fraction is written as X. Here since it is 0.9 dry, the condition of steam is a wet. Therefore from steam table at 0.1 bar we will take the properties of steam. Therefore at 0.1 bar, this is the property, this is the steam, we have taken from the steam table. At 0.1 bar, HF is 191.8, HFG is 2392.8 kilojoule per kg, and the formula of enthalpy, that is H2 is equal to HF plus XHFG. Since here we are taking 0.2, I am writing here HF2 plus X2 HFG2. This is at 0.1 bar. Okay, now at 0.1 bar, HF, value of HF is 191.8. Here I will write 191.8. Then value of X2 is given, that is 0.9, and HFG at 0.1 bar is 2392.8. Here we will get the value of H2. Then power output from the turbine. We have seen the formula for work done of the turbine. Work done of the turbine is H1 minus H2. But when we multiply work done with a mass flow rate, then we get power output. If we multiply work done with a mass flow rate, we get power output. But power output should be in kilowatt always. But mass flow rate is given in kg per hour. Therefore, we will divide it by 3600. So therefore, power output of a turbine is 10,000 kg per hour is there. Therefore, we are dividing it by 3600 to convert into kg per second. When we multiply kg per second with a kilojoule, we will get kilowatt. Now enthalpy H1 and this is enthalpy H2. Now heat transfer per hour in the boiler and condenser. Let us consider first boiler. Boiler supply steam at 65 bar and 400 degrees Celsius. Again here both pressure and temperature are given. Therefore it is a superheated steam. Now from superheated steam table at 65 bar and 400 degrees Celsius, we will get, look at here in the, I have taken this image from steam table. In steam table 60 bar is given, 75 bar is given, 65 bar is not given. Therefore we have to take average value of 60 and 70. Now enthalpy of steam at 60 bar and 400 degrees Celsius is 3177.2 and at 70 bar 315.2, and we have to take average of this. We have to take average of this value and this value, and the average of that is 3177.2 plus 315.1 divided by 2 is 367.6. It is the enthalpy at this point, at this point A. Now the heat transfer per hour in boiler. Q, we have to calculate heat transfer to the boiler. Therefore we have to consider enthalpy across the boiler. Inlet enthalpy of the boiler will be at 70 bar, and inlet condition of water is a subcooled water to the boiler. Therefore enthalpy of subcooled water is taken as HF. Therefore at 70 bar we will take value of HF from steam table. Look at here, at 70 bar, value of HF from steam tunnel is 1267.4, and enthalpy at this point we have calculated. When we take a difference of enthalpy across boiler, will get heat supplied in kilojoule per kg. Therefore, we have to multiply it by mass flow rate. Therefore, I have taken 10,000 kg per hour, and we are getting heat supplied in kilojoule per hour, because you have to calculate per hour. Here I have not divided it by 3600. If I would have divided it by 3600, the unit will be kilowatt, and the result is 1.9 into 10 to the power 7 kilojoule per hour. Now for condenser, the outlet condition of steam from the turbine is inlet to the condenser. We have calculated H2. Now steam leaving the condenser at 0.09 bar, and the condition of steam is saturated liquid. Therefore, from steam table at 0.09 bar, HF for saturated liquid and subcooled liquid, we write HF. We take HF from the steam table at a given temperature or pressure. Here pressure is given. Therefore, at 0.09 bar from the steam table, HF is 183.3 kilojoule per kg. Therefore, heat transfer per hour in the condenser is enthalpy difference across condenser, that is H2 minus H3, and H2 we have calculated in case of turbine power. Okay, that is H2 minus HF3. When we multiply enthalpy to the mass flow rate, we will get heat in kilojoule per hour, heat rejected in kilojoule per hour. Therefore, 10,000 into H2 is 2345 minus 3 minus 183.3, that is 2.16 into 10 to the power 7 kilojoule per hour. Next, mass of cooling water circulated per hour in the condenser. Mass of cooling water circulated in the condenser. Now, how to calculate? We know that the heat rejected by the condenser is equal to heat gained by the cooling water. Whatever heat is rejected by the steam, in the condenser, the same amount of heat is taken up by the cooling water. Therefore, we have to write a heat balance equation between steam and the cooling water. Here, heat lost by the steam is equal to heat gained by the cooling water. Now, heat lost by the steam is Q1. Heat lost by the steam is Q1, and we have to equate it with the heat gained by the cooling water. Therefore, it will be Q2 is equal to mCp delta T of water, mass of water, specific heat of water, and change in temperature of water. Q2 is 2.16 into 10 to the power 7 kilojoule per hour. I am writing mass flow rate in K. We are taking 18 kilojoule per hour. Therefore, whatever mass flow rate you will get, it will be kg per hour. Mass of water we have to calculate. Specific heat of water at constant pressure is 4.187. Specific heat of water is 4.187. This is standard value. Exit temperature of water is 30 degree and inlet temperature of water is 20 degree. It is given in the problem. Only mass flow rate of water is unknown. Therefore, mass of water is coming to be 1.116 into 10 to the power 7 kg per hour. Now, the diameter of pipe connecting to the turbine with the condenser. Diameter of pipe connecting turbine with condenser, that we have to calculate. For this, velocity is given. The formula of discharge, area into velocity. Formula of discharge is area into velocity, and m into specific volume. Mass flow rate of steam into specific volume. This is the formula. Area of pipe is pi by 4 d square, and velocity of steam flowing through the pipe is c. That is mass of steam into specific volume of a steam. Specific volume of steam coming out of the turbine. But steam coming out of the turbine is a weight. Therefore, we are multiplying that specific volume with a x, and we know the value of x, that is 0.1. Here value of velocity is given, mass of steam is known to us, that is 10,000 kg per hour, x2 is given, and Vg we will take at point 2 from the steam table. D is the diameter of pipe in meter, C is the velocity of steam, that is 200 meter per second, it is given. Ms is the mass of steam in kg per second, x2 is the dryness fraction at 2, then Vg2 is the specific volume at 0.1 bar, that is 14.67 meter cube per kg. This value is taken from steam table. Therefore, substituting the various value in the equation, above equation will get pi by 4 d square into 200 is equal to 10,000 upon 3600. Here we are writing mass flow rate in kg per second because velocity is given in meter per second. Unit should be balanced. Here velocity is in kg per second, therefore we have to take mass flow rate in kg per second. Therefore we are writing it as 10,000 upon 3600. Then value of x2 is 0.9 and is 14.67. Then d is equal to 0.483 meter or 483 millimeter.